Now, Hungary's leader, Viktor Orban, has sent sparks flying at the European Parliament as he made his speech there. He said in the last hour that he needs to make a case for change at the Parliament. He also said that the migration crisis will cause the Schengen open border system to collapse. It comes, as he's also been saying, that the EU needs to change tack on Ukraine or face defeat, and as he's promised as well, to pop the champagne if Donald Trump wins back the White House. Well, let's bring you up to date then with exactly what he had to say and look at some of the issues for us. Our international affairs editor, Ketiman Gordestani, is joining me here on set. Ketiman, just bring us up to date then. He's finished speaking around 15, 20 minutes ago. What did he have to say?
Well, as you said, the main point of the speech was sort of a general policy speech for Viktor Orban's rotating presidency, but also more broadly about the policies of Europe's far right, because Hungary and his party are within this alliance known as Patriots for Europe, a new alliance that includes the likes of the French far-right National Rally. And so his case for change and his willingness to be the catalyst for change, as he called it, really laid out a sort of grim view of where the European Union was standing, saying that this was the most serious period in EU history. He mentioned the war in Ukraine, he mentioned the crisis in the Middle East, and of course the migration crisis that he said would be a threat to the open border policy of Schengen. And of course, immigration is one of the main issues that is being carried by the far right, and especially by Viktor Orban. And there is a sort of also within the immigration issue, this really divergent belief on what the European Union actually is. Yesterday, he talked about how this was a Europe of nations rather than a common bloc. So his idea is that every country has to take back control, especially take back control of its borders, and especially have the right to decide what is best for their country when it comes to immigration. One thing that he really has attacked is this common asylum policy that is set to come into place in the next couple of years. So really immigration, a big focus. Also talking about agriculture. Again, the sort of attack from the outside where each country in the European Union needs to defend itself on its own. And you saw really this rift between Viktor Orban and some of the other parties in the European Union and the other leaders in the European Union. And one sign of that rift was at the end of his speech when he finished talking. There was some applause from the far right, but also sort of the left wing of the parliament got up and started chanting this anti-fascist chant, Bella Ciao, really standing up and chanting Bella Ciao, which prompted the president of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola, to say this is neither Eurovision nor Casa de Papel, which is of course the show that brought back the song for the made it popular again. But you really see that a lot of European leaders are sort of annoyed by Viktor Orban and the fact that he is now the face of the European Union, at least for a few more months.
Yeah, dramatic scenes there at the European Parliament. He had dramatic words as well to say, notably over Ukraine, didn't he?
Yes, he didn't talk a lot about Ukraine during his speech, but he made quite a few comments about it yesterday during his press conference, basically saying that there was no way that Ukraine could win on the battlefield and that therefore they needed to figure out another solution, that the EU needed to have a new strategy when it comes to Ukraine, that right now the strategy was not good, that there needed to be some discussion, some cooperation, and he also said that there needed to be a sort of peace plan for Ukraine negotiated with the Russian. Of course, you have to remember that when he took over that rotating presidency, the first thing he did was go on an unplanned, uncoordinated with the rest of the EU peace tour, as he dubbed it. He went to Ukraine. He met with Vladimir Zelensky. He also went to Russia to meet with President Vladimir Putin, who is, of course, one of his big allies. And he believes that he can figure out a sort of peace plan there. He has also been very critical of Europe's support for Ukraine. Yesterday, he said those who think that the EU is doing the right thing, they can continue doing it. But those who think like us can disagree, and this should be up to national government. Again, this idea that each country needs to be able to decide what it wants to do, even when it comes to Ukraine. He also said that Europe needed to be ready right after the U.S. elections to figure out how to deal with the peace plan, because he said that Donald Trump had an idea and he was going to start implementing it even before the inauguration. Of course, Donald Trump is also a big ally of Viktor Orban. They were together in Mar-a-Lago a few months ago. And as you said, yesterday, he said that he would be popping champagne if Donald Trump was reelected as president of the United States.